Well, meantime, 3 people, including a teenager, are now dead after a shooting in northwest Albuquerque. It happened near Cottonwood Mall this afternoon. That's where we find Action 7 News reporter Brianna Albizu, who's live for us. Brianna.
Well, Kaylin, officials say it all started right behind me here at the Party City parking lot. You can see the crime scene tape and multiple police cars still on the scene. APD says officers were called just before 1 this afternoon after shots were fired. When they arrived, they found 3 people dead, 1 body inside a car. At this time, police say they're still not sure if the people knew one another, but they do know the suspected shooter took their own life.
The shooter is on scene and did take their life. Still very early in the investigation. We haven't even gotten positive IDs on the individuals on scene and the people that are the victims.
While officials still aren't able to name those involved, they do say one of them was a teenager. A nurse was on scene and tried to perform life-saving measures on the teen, but in the end, it didn't work. Now, investigators are here and will be here for several hours as they collect evidence. This entryway along Coors, where the camera is showing you now, is blocked off, but Cottonwood Mall and surrounding stores are still open. Reporting live in Northwest Albuquerque, Brianna Albizu, KOAT Action 7.
Happening now, we're learning more about a murder in West Albuquerque from September. This week, 2 21-year-olds were arrested in the murder of 17-year-old Noah Tafoya during an attempted gun purchase. 4 people, including Tafoya and the suspects, were shot at an apartment complex off Ladera. Everton McNabb and Matthew Wood now face a number of charges like first-degree murder and armed robbery.
On Albuquerque Gangland, we'll be profiling a neighborhood called Westside, Locos, Doc Mob, 03. Yeah, that's the name of the gang. Westside Locos, 03 is their number, Doc Mob. They're located on the west side of Albuquerque. Their neighborhood is like in the 50s and 60s there on the west side, off Central in the 50s and 60s, and Old Coors, all the way down to Bridge and back in there, Blue Water, and all those little roads back in there. All their members went to, they go to West Mesa High, and yeah, they're all right there on the Mesa, right there on the west side, you know. That's what they represent. They're West Siders, you know, West Side locals. They wear these, the Washington Nationals hats here for West Side. They also wear the White Sox hats for Shits on Chaos. Yep, Shits on Chaos, and that's also in their name. The Doc stands for Death on Chaos in Doc Mob. These guys are dedicated haters of the TCK gang, which is Thugs Causing Chaos. They've had, you know, back and forth murders, so they hate them. That's their number one enemy. And these guys, like I said, have members in the thousands. They're a huge gang in Albuquerque. They're located on the west side there. That's their whole neighborhood, right there in the center of the west side, and in the 60s and the 50s, all the way up to the 80s, you know. All the way back in there, and that's their whole neighborhood. They have a lot of members, like I said, in the thousands. They stay strapped up, and they put out a lot of music also. Worst One put out a lot of good music. This is Cruelty and Smiley here, representing, wearing that West Side hat, you know, that Nationals hat. You see Doc on them. That's, you know, Death on Chaos. That's their enemies. They put out a lot of music. They live right there on the west side, and they're down to get it with anyone, man, you know. They got a lot of members, like I was saying. And they got a lot of music they put out, like these guys here. And I also got a video coming up next with Smoke G. So you guys check that out. So yeah, man, you guys definitely want to check out that music video we got coming up next. This right here is Cruelty and Smiley. You know, from Westside Locals, Doc Mob, 03. Like I said, again, they're neighborhoods right there on the west side in the 60s and 50s and 80s, all up in there. Old Coors, all the way down to Bridge, and all those streets in there. You know, they got the name Doc for Death on Chaos. These guys are number one enemies with TCK. They hate TCK. If they see them at anywhere, that's their number one enemy. They'll kill them on sight. It's on sight. It says right there in their name, Death on Chaos. They also wear the DC Shoe Company stuff for the DOC, for Doc Mob. They also wear the socks White Sox gear for shitting on chaos. Yeah, these guys are with the business. They stay strapped. They represent Burke, you know. These are the Westside Locos. Doc Mob 03. They put out a lot of good music. You know, they got a bunch of different crews that rap. A lot of their old members went to West Mesa High, and they're right there on West Mesa. You know, they're like you've seen in those news clips in the beginning. There's a lot of shootings they're involved in, and there's a lot of other neighborhoods right there on the west side, El Washe, and Happy Homes, and Westside Rolling 60s, and Westgate. But these guys hold their own. They're with the business, you know. They're Albuquerque originals. Rest in peace to Worst One. Rest in peace to Lost. You know, shout out to Pistola. Shout out to Turtle. A couple guys I know personally. You know, and shout out to these guys right here. Westside Locals. Doc Mob, located right there on the west of Albuquerque. Got a lot of rappers, and this is their set. You know, and this is what they do. Shout out. Westside guys, check out the videos we got coming up next. A bunch of Doc Mobbers. You can check out their set some more. See what they're all about. Let's have a
Suck on my dick and lie dead in a ditch. I care less about a snitch that be talking that shit. Fuck a click, Westside, dark gang in this bitch. You wanna battle, fuck rap, I'ma bust my guns. I don't care where you from, get that ass lit up. Or you wanna be punks, like to talk a lot of shit, but every time I come around, you be all up on my dick. Got about a week and I'm getting locked up, but my team hold it down, can't nobody stop us. Cruel, let them flows bust, and I believe in what he's saying, so I put it on him, cause I believe that he can make it. For my haters that be hating, cause I'm way too hood, I'm that Jew you wanna be, that's why you swinging on my nuts. I don't really give a fuck, you know I'm coming up, cause I'm crazy like my daddy. Pitbull in my blood, I'm a goon from the slums, shoot from the jump. I was raised as a gangster, you just a thug. Westside where I'm from, Central and 6-1, that's my hood, we coming up. Yeah, with dubs up, can't nobody stop us. Flooding through every ghetto, cause my G's out here playing with heavy metal. Step it up another level, cause my foot is on the pedal. And I'm mashing, humping violins by the devil. I won't settle for the bottom, I'ma take it to the top. Albuquerque is my city, and I battle with the cops till the day my heart stops. I go hard like my pops, anybody who want it can get it. Off top, I never had nothing to prove, with nothing much to lose. I held it down my whole life, you couldn't walk in my shoes. Not even baby steps, I done been through it all. Living life like a soldier with my back against the wall, but I always stand tall and never look back. Even when I can't take it, I still killing these tracks. Cities flying off the racks, cause everybody know everything I spit's real, and I'm hood to the bone. I was quick with the chrome, now the feds on my back. Ripping free cruelty, my brother on a murder rap. Now I spit that murder rap, I keep on killing tracks. I was born a natural hustler till I die, I'm chasing stacks. Got the hood on wax, and I'll never forget when I was barely coming up, and my brother works at the pit, throwing dubs in this bitch. For my dogs, I miss him, everybody passed away, and I'ma probably go to prison. But me, I ain't tripping, this life that I was given had me living in the gutter. I'm in search of something different, fuck the money and the bitches, I just wanna make a difference. Show my girl that I'm a lover till the world starts spinning. In the kitchen by the microwave, hoping one day I get paid. No, that stress on my mind will just fade away, so I pray in my head low, ever since the get-go. Haters want me gone, but I refuse to ever let go. So bring the blunt slow when I'm gone, and remember me a G when you're bumping my old songs. I'm a Don, Duke City, that's where I belong. Picture me rolling that caddy, swinging down 6'1", hands one, held me down and always had my back. That's my brother and I love him, and nothing could change that. True fact, homies in the streets always faking, acting in my face, and when I turn my back they hating. Face it, you won't never be like me. Acting all wild, but you ain't G like me. Don't you see, I'm a soldier, something like my pops. King of the city till my casket drops. I can't stop till I'm gone. Even if I go do 10 in the feds, I'ma still come home. My throne is made of haters' bones. And if you didn't know, then bitch, now you know.
Chaos during what some we've learned were on social media calling Project X.
Packed house party on Albuquerque's west side. Before gunfire takes over.
Seems like a war out here.
Someone shot and killed 19-year-old Tristan Maez that night. 4 others got shot. Neighbors couldn't comprehend the chaos.
Things have gotten so out of hand. Just the behavior now of some people, and again, these young people with guns.
I'm coming through red camp for the Southwest. I play a May thug, making money with vets. Laced up, thug fitted in the South Dub. Rolling with my boy Bino, staying bossed up. Duke City, y'all but crazy, we on one. I get the work and hit the block until it's all gone. Take a trip to our city, you might get jacked. It's the land of entrapment, we getting stacks. Down here, we rep the Zia symbol. Ducking from the hood, I was riding dirty with the pistol. Catch me on the corner, pitching packs of the crystal. Never been a bust, the money's never been an issue. And you can catch us on the block, man, we never hide. And where I'm from, for the other side. Let them know where you're from, put your A's up.